Yo, what's going on, guys? Spence Locks here. Welcome back to the channel. I have picks for you guys today for NBA playoffs. We have two very exciting, interesting games. Tonight, we have the Knicks and the Pacers, and we have the Timberwolves and the Nuggets. Like I said, they're going to be two really interesting games. We have game one between the Knicks and the Pacers, which is going to be in Madison Square Garden, New York. And then we have game two, which is going to be for the Nuggets and the Timberwolves, again in Denver. We cashed on our last pick for game one between those two teams. Going to be taking a little bit of a different angle on game two here. I'm excited to share all my insights and projections for these two games. If you guys would be so kind to smash the like button, hit the subscribe button, and also hit the bell icon so you can be notified when I post new videos. And that way you can always watch them quick. Make sure that you get in your plays early. Drop a comment. Let me know what you're feeling for the locks tonight, who you're riding with, what your projections are yourself. I might pin one that I really like of your comments, so make sure that you drop them in there. And so, yeah, guys, the NBA playoffs, we've been doing really well on our VIP best bets. And like I said, I give you guys these free YouTube videos with tons of knowledge, insights from not only myself, but some other people who I consult with to get you guys the best projections as far as games, totals, money lines, spreads, everything as far as those bets, straight bets. And then I throw in some player props on the side that, some things that I'm leaning towards as well. If you guys want to check out my best bets, go over to my Winnable or check out the description. You go over to my winnable.com/SpenceLocks. Use code Spence20. Save yourself 20% off of any of my VIP packages. You could do the daily, the weekly, the monthly, or the annually. That 20% off code will work on all of my plans. And guys, those are my best bets. Those are where I'm putting the most amount of my own money behind. I'm riding all of those picks every single night. So I have two for tonight between these two teams. These two games, one on each game. So make sure that you guys check those out in the links. Also, any of the links in the description you can use for bonus bets on sports books. I got DraftKings, Hard Rock, and FanDuel. Links in the description will give you extra money in bonus bets. And yeah, as far as DFS apps like Sleeper, Chalkboard, Underdog Fantasy, Prize Picks, and Betr, you can use the links in the description or my code Spence. When you make a deposit, it's going to double your deposit. Free money, basically. Make sure you take advantage of that. I appreciate you guys. So let's get into this video here. Game one between the Knicks and the Pacers. Now, this is going to be an exciting game. It's in New York. The Pacers won in the regular season. This is where I started my analysis, is in the regular season for this game, because these two teams, it's game one. We haven't seen how they're going to play each other in the playoffs yet. But the Pacers won 2 out of the 3 games against the Knicks in the regular season. Pacers have the best offense in the league. They're very explosive. They love to run down the court. But I'm concerned, with the Knicks and their lack of depth from the bench. It will become tired towards the end of the game. Without Julius Randle, Brunson. I do think Brunson's going to have a good game. We're going to talk about player props for this game, but I'm just saying, based on the way that the Pacers love to play, they're a very aggressive offense team. They're actually worse at defense. So, maybe look at a potential over in points for this game. You could also look at Knicks money line. I don't think that the Pacers come into Madison Square Garden, New York tonight on the road in an explosive situation where it's like playing in the Knicks stadium is never an easy thing if you're a road team. But we're going to have to see how game one plays out to really get the vibes and the momentum, because I do like the way that the Pacers play offense. So, although they have the best offense, the Pacers, they have a really bad defense. They rank one of the worst defensive teams against the pick and roll, ball handlers, isolation, and handoff styles of offense. However, the Pacers have a great defense against point guard assists and spot up shooters. What I'm thinking as far as player props for this game tonight, Jalen Brunson. Okay, I do think Jalen Brunson is going to hit his point projection at over 25 points. He's averaged 35.7 points versus the Pacers in the regular season. Like I said, his line's only at 25 points for this game. He's averaged 26 shot attempts and 10 free throw attempts versus the Pacers in the regular season. So he only needs 25 points. If he's hitting 26 shot attempts and 10 free throw attempts versus the Pacers, he should be able to crush this line. And based off of how Jalen Brunson has been playing in the playoffs, and this game is in New York, combined with the Pacers' lack of defense, especially on his type of offense, right? I think he's going to have a great game. I think he's going to drill this line. And I think that's a lock if you're going to do player props, Jalen Brunson over points. Now, I do think if we're going to continue to talk about Jalen Brunson under 8.5 assists. And you got to just look at the facts, right? Against the Pacers in the regular season, Jalen Brunson averaged only 3.7 assists per game this season based off 12.5 potential assists. He averaged 9 assists against the 76ers in the first round playoffs based off 15 potential assists. You could also take an alternate line here and bump him up to like under 10.5 assists, but nonetheless, I think Jalen Brunson, he's going to score a lot of points. I don't think he's going to get that many assists. And another reason for that is who's he giving the ball to score as well. And we got guys like Josh Hart, right? Josh Hart, kind of started off the season mediocre towards the end of the season. And in the playoffs, now we're talking about him being one of the best players in the East. But tonight, he's going against a different matchup than what he went up against in the 76ers. On the 76ers, the matchups against him were kind of weak, to be honest. But tonight, he's going up against much more difficult opponents. He's going to be going up against Nesmith and Nembhard for the Pacers. And I think these guys are much more aggressive than what he's been up against. He's a spot-up shooter, right, which the Pacers are number one at defending. And combine, so like what I would say about Josh Hart, I'm taking the under on 33.5 PRAs, which is, I think that's a good spot to be. He's just going to have a much more difficult time tonight than he's at currently. And if he's going to be going under shooting, I also am correlating that with Brunson to do less assists. But you can target this however many ways you want. But those are just, 3 players for the Knicks. Or 2 players for the Knicks, but we talked about Brunson over 25 points and Brunson under 8.5 assists and Josh Hart under 33.5 PRAs. As far as on the Pacers, I do like Nembhard. I think Nembhard's been going crazy. I think if you want to look at Nembhard points and assists, that'd be a good lock. He's been drilling that a lot of the games. I like Nembhard. I think he's a baller. I also like Obi Toppin. I think these guys are great athletes. And I would look at those. I would give those a good look if you want to do some player props for that game. Now let's go into Nuggets versus Wolves. And if you guys were on my VIP, Saturday night these teams played off for the first time, and everybody thought, games in Denver's going to come out and smack them in the mouth, and just the opposite happened really. And I called this shit out because I'm like, don't sleep on the Wolves. I said, the Nuggets played the Lakers, and the Lakers, could have won the series, really lost 2 games at the buzzer beater from Murray both times. But realistically, the Lakers almost beat the Nuggets. It was just crazy to see, especially at home. And then what did we see? We saw the Timberwolves come out on a crazy first run. It was like 18-4, right, against the Nuggets in Denver. Ended up having the game come pretty damn close. It was, they came back. The Nuggets came back, but, Murray, 0 points, I believe, in the first half. Then he came out and did 17 in the second half. I think Murray has a better game, obviously, this game. And, the game is in Denver again. And I think since they lost the first time, they're going to come out at their home court. And I do believe Denver is going to pull this one out this time. It would be an absolute spectacle if Minnesota put them down and came 2-0 in the series. I think they would be able to steal the series then, because then it goes to Minnesota afterwards. So this is a must-win game for the Nuggets, guys. This is an absolute must-win at home, and I do think the Nuggets pull out this one. We did get, I had Minnesota, and I actually altered the line a little bit. The normal spread would have covered, but I did plus 8.5, Minnesota plus 8.5, which meant Minnesota had to win the game or they had to cover by 8.5 points, cover the loss. We ended up smashing that. Now, I almost was leaning towards Minnesota +6. I saw the line at today, and now it's at 5.5. But my VIP has my best bet for this game. You guys can go ahead and check that out on my VIP packages. Yeah, so as far as let's just talk about this real quick. Jokic is going to have a game. If you're ever going to bet Jokic on player props, you never really want to fade him. Now, I am fading him tonight on rebounds and assists, and his line's at 21.5 rebounds and assists. I'm taking the under on that, or at least I'm leaning towards it. These are not officially locked in bets as far as player props for me, but these are just like analysis and research and where I'm leaning towards. So I'm not going to count them against my record. I'm going to give you guys free analysis and to do whatever you guys want to do with it, whether you want to lock it in as a one man or if you want to throw it up on a DFS app like Chalkboard and put it into a two man. I wouldn't really do more than two man NBA parlays for players, just because you never really know how these players are going to come out and play. And then once you get into the 3, 4, and I've even seen people doing 5-man parlays for player props, it just gets crazy. And your chances of winning really deteriorate. It doesn't really outweigh the amount of money that you would win. Trust me, I've done it all regular season. So, anyways, I got Jokic under 21.5 rebounds and assists. Just got to see who he's going up against, guys. He's going up against Karl Anthony Towns and going up against Rudy Gobert for rebounds. And you've seen it. Like, against the Wolves, he's gone under in rebounds every single game in the season. Every single game. As well as assists, too. 21.5. The Minnesota plays crazy defense. Number 1 defense in the entire league. So I stacked both of those. I'm feeling good about under 21.5 rebounds and assists, but like I said, do with the knowledge as you will. You could fade under just in rebounds if you would like. I gave myself a little bit of a cushion because I do think Jokic comes back tonight and is fired up because he's the best player on that court, best player in the league. Anthony Edwards is absolutely unreal. However, don't be the public in this game. Anthony Edwards, I do think he goes over 28.5 points. He had 43 last game. No sign of slowing down. Although that is kind of a high line, I do think he hits that game. We've just seen in all of the playoff games, even Cavs and Magic yesterday, both superstars, Banchero, Donovan Mitchell, crushing their lines. As what these guys have been doing, they've been coming out and playing hard in the playoffs, like harder than ever. They've been hitting their points lines every single time. But yeah, Anthony Edwards over points. Mike Conley for the Timberwolves. I'm thinking over 16.5 points and assists. Thinking that's a lock. He had a hell of a game last game, and I think he comes back and scores and gets a ton of assists as well. Last time I kind of leaned Jaden McDaniels over. It was like 13.5 PRA. He ended up getting no points, but got a ton of rebounds and assists. So you can look at Jaden McDaniels to have a bounce back game tonight as well. But yeah, those are my analysis. Those are my player props. Obviously, we kind of have more for the Knicks and the Pacers. But I'm thinking those are. I don't want to just give you guys shit to give you guys shit. Like those are things that I would, and I am going to lock maybe 1 or 2 player props here later. But just for fun, I'm not gonna go too crazy on them. Those are my analysis, and I want to keep the video kind of short. If you guys enjoy the analysis, you want me to keep making these videos so you guys can get some more insight, more depth about what's going to happen, drop me a subscribe, drop me a like, let me know who you guys are riding with tonight. And like I said, if you want my best bets that I'm throwing sizable amount of money down every single day on, check out my Winnable, check out the subscription. It's like $50 for a week pass, but with my code SPENCE20, you can get it for 20% off. You can try the month pass, which will get you through the end of NBA playoffs. And then, we got football season coming up. If you want to get the year pass, save yourself 20% off right now. That code is active because once football season starts, the prices are going to go up for the, full season and stuff like that. Appreciate you guys so much. Thanks for watching the video. See you in the next one. Spence Locks.